Hi guys, I'm Katie,
I'm Laura.
and we are the Black Needle Society -1 because Athena is doing other stuff today, and we wanted to create this video today to answer some of your questions. And since we started the Black Needle Society, we thought we could probably handle that on our own.
We get lots of questions all the time. We've also seen some misconceptions pop up,
Yep.
and we thought that the best way to do this would be to just have a video where we get to chat with you.
Yeah. So I'm drinking some coffee, and we're just gonna have a nice chat. Mom has water.
Big thing of water.
Let's start with question number 1 that we don't have written anywhere. Why do you say Katie Landis?
I took a big drink.
Yeah.
So I have a FlossTube called The Pattern Queens where I film with my friend Keisha. And we had a viewer write in and say, "Oh, you guys say Katie Landis all the time," which it is funny. We refer to Katie as Katie Landis most of the time. And this viewer said, "So I've turned it into a drinking game. Every time you say Katie Landis, I take a drink." So I turned it into, well, it's a good way for me to hydrate. And during retreats, it's an especially good way for us to remember.
Yes. So if you ever hear my name pop up a little too often, that's probably why. Okay. So we do have a couple of things that we wrote down that we've seen pop up. And then we asked you guys to submit questions via Instagram. And so I'm going to go through those as well after we go through the couple of things that we've seen. So one of the first things that we wanted to say is that you do not need a subscription to sign up for the special edition boxes. And special edition boxes include Frogwarts and Stars Hollow and our Black Needle Society retreat. It also includes our Trick or Treat box and our Nice List box. We do put a cap on the Trick or Treat boxes and the Nice List boxes. That's because we have to wrap every single item that goes into those. We have to package them so that, and then label them with the day. And we can only do that times 31 times 25 so many times. So
before everyone revolts and
yes,
refuses to pack anymore.
So those are really the two boxes that have a cap on them. There's been some false information out there about our cap number 2.
Yes.
We did not have a cap for Frogwarts this year. We did have a number in mind that we thought we might reach, but we didn't even, we tried to overestimate. And the only reason we had that number in mind is because when I plan these boxes really early before they go on sale, and so when I'm talking to vendors and asking, hey, can you create this thing for me? I have to give them a number to aim for and a deadline. So that's why there was a number, but it was more of a, this is as high as we estimate ourselves going.
And what we really have for a cutoff is a date.
Yes.
So once we've closed, once we've hit the closing date, that's it. There's nobody else getting in.
Yes.
So
and we hear over and over and over that, oh, I just found out about you guys. Is there still a box available? And we hear you and we feel for you, but the way these boxes are set up, we actually have to set the special edition boxes up 6 months in advance, because most of them, if not all of them, have a retreat event with them. So aside from just planning a box and getting the items in there, we also have to plan the retreat and get everything for the retreat there, including all of the prizes for the retreat. So that's why there's that extra buffer time. These special edition boxes, I feel like, are thought of as just boxes sometimes, and it's forgotten that this is actually a digital retreat business. So just like you would pay well in advance for a retreat, you're paying well in advance for a digital retreat, and it's because we have to do all the planning and stuff on the back end with it.
Right. And when Katie says there are no extra boxes, it's because we do plan pretty closely to the number. We try to allow for enough extras to cover breakage or whatever else we need the items for, but we don't just buy a whole bunch of extra things and keep them.
No, the things that I will buy kind of an excessive amount of are breakables. Like if we include a mug or something else, ceramic or glass or anything like that, I will buy extras, because we know that some male people have some anger issues on certain days when boxes are delivered. That's what I just tell myself. um, and some things don't survive. But so we are, I'm just going to also say one of the misconceptions is that we won't replace an item. We've heard in our
Contact us.
yeah, we've heard in our chats, oh, I didn't want to bother you. No, bother us, because you've paid for the item. So we want to make sure that you get your item. I have ordered extras and we should be able to replace it. And if there's a reason that I can't replace it, then we'll still figure out a way to make it right with you.
Mm-hmm. We'll ask you to take a photo just to send us. It helps with our accountability and lets us know what we need to look for to maybe
for packaging. But it also, if we need to put in a claim, then it also is proof for us to put in a claim.
Right. So the other things that are kind of misconceptions about, you don't need a subscription to join our newsletter.
Yes.
And that you can find on our website. If you go in and look at that, there's a link. Katie said at the
it's on the bottom.
When I looked at it on my device, it was at the top.
So it may depend.
Oh, no, that was the wait list.
Yeah, that's the wait list is at the top. Sorry. And the newsletter is at the bottom. And then also you can sign up from our Instagram page. I've added a link. So we have a Linktree account. So if you click on the link in our bio, it'll bring up a bunch of buttons and there is sign up for the newsletter. So let's back up. So how many boxes do you sell? This is a common question that we get. So we don't actually discuss the number of boxes we sell. It's just something we get asked about it all the time, and it's just not something we put out there. We will tell you, like, we have this many people participating in Frogwarts because it is a Facebook group, and
you'll see the number at the top of the group.
We'll tell you that. But other than that, we try not to discuss the behind the scenes business thing. Will you sell digital copies? I do not sell digital copies. I was offering them during the retreats for Frogwarts and Stars Hollow. That may change for next year. I was recently alerted to the fact that I had given away digital copies, and then some people took that as license to just pass off the paper copy to somebody else, and so that's going to actually hurt me on the back end. So digital copies are kind of up in the air right now for existing for next year.
And if you aren't aware, there's a copyright on the back of every single pattern that you get that says that a pattern is for one use, for one person. And Katie gives the digital copy to a person who gets a paper copy as well during a retreat, just to make things easier. The original purpose was so that our friends who are not in the United States, who don't always get the retreat in a box, they don't always get their swag box prior to the retreat, it gives them a way to still be able to participate and have something that everybody else has.
Yes. And so it's one of those things, it's kind of talked about, and I feel like some people kind of ignore, but by passing paper copies along, it's taking money away from me, and it makes it not feasible for me to do this full time. And so the more copies that are shared, the less likely I'm going to be able to keep doing this, and the less likely I'll be able to keep designing. So it's just, it's, you say support your LNS, support your designer too. Mm-hmm. Why are boxes sold so far in advance? Okay. Mm-hmm. And I will say, Athena fields a lot of emails saying, I've paid for this box and this box, and I
don't even know what box I've paid for.
I haven't gotten it yet. And so there is an item description on the retreat boxes. However, I know because we have to have them hidden right now that you guys can't go back and check that. So just so you know, you were purchasing the bi-monthly subscription 4 months in advance. Mm-hmm. We do this because that money is then taken and is used to purchase your items. But artists take time to make their artwork for us. Dyers, it takes time for them to dye the product for us. Manufacturers, it takes them time. And then there's all the shipping time. And then there's if somebody has something go wrong and I have to come up with a replacement, that's time too. So we're not just taking your money and sitting on it and, ha ha ha. No. We are putting it to good use right away. We are buying your items. We are paying artists. We are paying designers, and getting everybody going on the items for your boxes.
And we hope that you see that when you're looking at a spoiler card, we tell you who has designed all of the items, and we hope that you're seeing all of the cool oh my gosh, exclusive artwork. I lost the word for a minute. That you're seeing all of the cool exclusive artwork that you're getting on items. But anything with that artist on there, we're creating an exclusive item.
Where am I on the wait list? This is a question we get a lot. So we don't really answer that very often. First of all, we don't like to talk about how many people are on the wait list. Second of all, if we had everybody on the wait list ask where they were on the wait list,
Katie would never get anything done.
There would be no box. I will occasionally tell you what month I am in. I can tell you right now that I am toward the end of the March signups and I'm heading into April. So when this video comes out, which we are at the very end of August 2021 here. So keep that in mind. Will you do an in-person retreat? Actually, yes. We are planning to do an in-person retreat next August. We are still scouting. We don't have official dates yet, but we are still scouting. We actually found a place yesterday that we're really interested in checking out. So when we know more about it, we will be posting that on Instagram and Facebook and in a newsletter and all the places. We do try and communicate as much as possible.
We are tentatively looking at very, very early in August.
Yes.
I work for the school district and we try and have our retreats when I am not in school so that I can devote more time.
Yes. Okay, so that's all of the things that we had written down. And like I said, we kind of wrote down just a few questions and we decided we would just build off of it from there if something popped in our head. So we've had a couple of tangents. So now I have questions from you all that you asked when
we posted a story on Instagram.
So question number 1 is from Misfit Stitches. Will you do a Schitt's Creek box, please? So
we've been asked this. We've been asked, will you do this fandom? Will you do this fandom? Will you do this fandom? And the good answer is
that I will only do a box for a fandom if I feel confident that I know that fandom. So Harry Potter, yes. Gilmore Girls, yes. Like I've watched Gilmore Girls series probably 50 plus times through. So it's a long story, but so that's why I was confident taking those on. I have never actually watched Schitt's Creek, so right now the answer is probably no, and I probably won't. Like, it's not something that I want to watch as like one round through and make a box. It has to be something that I love enough that I want to watch multiple times and create a fandom box for you guys because I share your love with it. And I hope that if you guys see us putting out a fandom box, you know that it's something that we really love. We
invested time in.
Yes.
So,
and I'm really the one who does a lot of the curating for those fandoms because right now it's Harry Potter and Gilmore Girls. I know somewhere in here there's a question about Lord of the Rings, and Dad actually is a huge Lord of the Rings fan, and I read that one out to him. He was like, well, I could help with that one. So
we have a friend who often asks when we're doing a Hunger Games retreat.
Yes. So currently it's me doing fandoms, but if a fandom comes up that pertains to another member of our family, great. Okay, so what special boxes are planned for next year.
Ooh.
Well, the ones that you can plan on are Trick or Treat and Advent, the nice list. And then Frogwarts Year 2, Frogwarts Year 3. I'm so used to saying Year 2.
Yes.
And Summer in Stars Hollow. And then
so there'll be about 10 months between Stars Hollow boxes.
Yes. And then we will have our Black Needle Society retreat, which is the August retreat.
The one in person.
We've been asked if we're going to sell that box separately. That's something we still don't know.
Right. We haven't quite sussed out exactly what we want to do with that.
Yeah. So stay tuned.
However, if we do, the one thing that we've talked about is that box will probably not ship until the retreat is taking place. Because
until the retreat is over, because I'm not driving to the post office in the middle of the retreat.
Well, I figured somebody would do that. Yeah. But anyway, the people who would buy that would not get it until after the retreat happened, because we don't want our in-person people being spoiled before they ever get to the retreat. We want it to be special.
And then the final box that we've been teasing during some of the retreats and the Saturday chats, we're planning a murder mystery box, and that one will be on sale in October. So Mom and I, if there's a story, I've wanted to do a murder mystery box for a long time,
and I've been like, but what are we gonna do?
Yeah, you have to plan a murder.
Work?
You have to plan a murder. And we're like, how do you plan a murder? Well,
who are we going to get to write that?
You see, the power went out here. There were storms.
Things that happened.
Yes. And there was no internet. There was no electricity. We actually had to drive the car around to charge up my cell phone. So while we're driving around the city, we were planning murders. And so we finally are going to have the murder mystery box. I'm so excited.
We have a good framework set up, and we are down to some ideas, and we even have a maker who's we've already contacted, and that person
we've seen
is
a test item.
Yes.
Oh, it's so cool.
And they're so excited, and I'm not even going to name gender, because I'm not even going to give you even that much. But the person that we've contacted is
inventive.
Yes, and is just as excited as we are about this. So
okay. So we have 6 special edition boxes next year.
Did you name 6?
I did. I was doing numbers in my head. That's why it was taking me a second to get Black Needle Society retreat. So yeah, we actually did cut one box out of the 2022 cycle. We made the decision to do that because there is so much going on here with Trick or Treat and Advent right now. I just did not have the time to dedicate to planning another box right now, and we didn't want to put something up for sale that wasn't ready, that we weren't confident in, and we're never going to do that.
An idea.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. Is it possible to get just the patterns if you missed the box? So for that, the Frogwarts Year 1 pattern is available in the vault, and I don't know. I've talked about pulling it out. I've talked about leaving it. I think I will just leave it in there
so that people can get that far ahead.
Yeah. And then I will be releasing the Autumn in Stars Hollow pattern on December 10th, when the Summer in Stars Hollow box goes on sale. And that one will stay in the vault. For the future pattern, so Frogwarts Year 2, that one is not going to be available unless you purchase the Year 3 box,
which will go on sale in January.
Yes. Other than that, patterns that are designed for us by designers, I do order some extra, and sometimes they just tuck extras in there. The last couple of boxes we've had, they were like, an extra 5 printed off, so I just sent them. You can put them in the vault or whatever you want to do.
And otherwise, you need to watch and follow those designers.
Yeah.
They retain the rights to their patterns
most of the time. That's not blanket, actually. Tiny Modernist ones were designed exclusively for us.
But the idea is that we ask them to not release those patterns to the general public for at least 6 months to a
Yes.
year. And that's agreed upon when the box comes out. So we usually know how long somebody will hold.
I just talked with a designer who said, "This was so great. Now I already have a pattern ready for Nashville next year." So it's a good timing thing for them because they just get some work done ahead of time. It's great for us because we get to include awesome patterns in the boxes from these super talented people.
It's really exciting, and we have more and more designers popping up for us. And if you're a designer out there watching us and you think, why haven't they asked me, contact us, because probably we're either a little nervous or the exact perfect thing has not popped up, and we want to match you up with something that we feel like is your wheelhouse.
We've talked to people and we're like, we really want to work with you, but we're waiting. So it's since we only do 6 bi-monthly boxes a year, I only really have 6 opportunities to work with a designer. So I only get to, now that being said, I do have the trick or treat and the nice list boxes that I work with designers on.
So we're talking about patterns. Do you want to take a little break from questions and insert some photos?
Okay, we can. So September 1st, I am going to be releasing 3 patterns to the vault. One was in the 2019 show me, no, 2020, sorry, 2020. What year? 2020 show me retreat.
And you could point.
Yeah, actually it's right above my head. I have to figure out that one right there. It says friends will always be welcome.
Be welcome.
Yes.
Right? Now this is an exclusive colorway.
Yes, so I'm gonna insert a picture. It's gonna be over the top of one of our heads. I don't know which one of us,
or maybe right here in between us.
But so that one will be releasing on September 1st. The colorway behind me, yes, is exclusive to that retreat. So the one I'm releasing is actually the bright color palette, and the model I actually stitched myself.
And it's gorgeous. I like it both ways. I feel like this one is more Winnie the Pooh-esque colorway.
So, and then the next pattern that I am releasing is Let It Snow. It is this pattern and the next one were going to be part of a larger project, but it just has not been feasible for me to finish it. But also I started designing these and I feel like I've grown as a designer, and I wasn't feeling like what I had made meshed well together for the overall project. So I decided
But we love these.
Yes. And I wanted the set to look cohesive. So I decided to take a step back until I'm a little more seasoned before taking this project
and
on
when
again.
You have a little more time to dedicate to that.
And
right?
So I decided to release this and the next pattern now and not hold on to them. And when I try and take this on again, it will be when I have a little more experience under my belt.
And these were model stitched by Athena.
Yes. So Let It Snow. So cute. Hopefully you like it. Athena, this was her first one she model stitched for me. She started this one first. Athena helped me find a bunch of misalignment things in there. She told me that I needed to even out the bottom of the snow line, the swirly snow line. My tree was technically 1 stitch higher than it should have been. We found out. Yeah, it was fun. Early designing days.
That's why you have model stitchers, though.
Yes. Oh, that's another common question, actually.
Well, go ahead and do your other pattern.
Okay. And then the last pattern, we'll back up to the question. The last pattern is Good Fortune. And
love this one.
The dragon is inspired by Chinese New Year celebration. I was thinking about, the dragons that they carry around on the posts with people underneath it and during a celebration. So it was supposed to be for Chinese New Year. So that's why the lantern actually says the little symbol, it should say luck. Hopefully it reads that way with the cross stitch.
So that means that if you get it now and start it, that you should be able to have it finished to hang in February.
Yes.
But we love this pink fabric. We love everything about it.
So I'm going to back up to a question that we were getting a lot last year, which is Frogwarts year 1 is pattern number 2. So where is pattern number 1? So brand new designer. It was my second pattern I ever designed. The first pattern was actually behind me here. The Friends Will Always Be Welcome. I do have a freebie out there, the Honey Bunny freebie out there, and it's actually on our website. That was pattern number 1, was the Friends Will Always Be Welcome. And since then, and then I think Frogwarts year 2 was actually pattern number 3, because I took a year off in between patterns, and so it was pattern number 3. Frogwarts year 3 will not be pattern number 4, because there's a lot of stuff now in between. I had some time. I've had my model stitchers have had some time, and I don't know what number we'll be up to by then. How do I get one? I think that's how do I get a box? We have a wait list. And again, Mom said you can click on the link at the top of our page, and it will take you to the Google form to sign up for our wait list.
But also, if you are wanting one of the specialty boxes, just watch for when those come out.
We announce on Instagram, and we do our best to announce on Facebook too. If I don't get it over there, normally Athena or Mom will get it over there. How many retreats are there per year, and when are they announced? Well, there.
So some of these are going to repeat.
Yes.
Obviously.
So there are 3 retreats during the year. 2 are digital, and 1 hopefully is going to be in person next year, barring, horrible COVID things happening. And they will be announced. They'll be announced 6 months. Well, they'll probably be announced about 7 months ahead of time, but we will open sales for them 6 months ahead of time. How do you come up with your ideas for the lifestyle items in your boxes? Well, first we come up with the theme. And then we try and think, what stitching things do you want to go with this theme? But inevitably, it's a lot easier to come up with those lifestyle items than cross stitch, just because cross stitch, if you think about it, there's not a
There's
ton.
a basic set of things that we use.
Yeah.
So we try to do as many variations as possible. That's why we keep such a close rein on our subscription number, because we want to have small makers.
Yes.
And the only way that we can have small makers and include those people is if we give them a number that's reasonable and
lots
time.
of notice. Yes.
So Katie is often working on boxes more than a year out.
I'm already on 2022. I have some fabulous designers for 2022. But how do we come up with the lifestyle items? We try. I mean, we start with the theme. We start with the cross stitch items, and then we kind of think, okay, pirate life stitching. What do pirates need? They need to stay hydrated because scurvy. Well, actually, that would be fruit, but
But so we have a water bottle in there.
Yeah, and
the burn balm in there.
Yeah, they're
out in the sun.
Yeah. So we have fun with it. We think about cozy stitching. I don't want to give things away, but we think what makes us feel cozy. What makes your space feel cozy? What do you think about when you picture somebody snuggling in to stitch? Because we want the things that we include to be functional. We want you to be able to enjoy them and not just be something to take up space. So hopefully you feel that way about the things. We also want them to be high quality. So we try and make sure that when we're curating things that we're confident in what we're sending to you. Anyway, you can ship out the international retreat box orders a little earlier. We actually we don't just sit on them. Yeah. We promise we don't just have all the things here and we're sitting on them. Actually, for July, we shipped things in June because we had them that early.
But especially for the international, for things that, like for the retreats and things, we always have a plan that we would love to get things out. And as we are longer in business, that will be
I will say
better and better.
We should have been able to ship Frogwarts earlier. However, one of the items was about 2 weeks late. But luckily I had built in extra time. But yeah, we had wanted to ship things out a lot sooner, but we were hanging around waiting on kind of one item to show up.
But you have come up with another option too
Yeah,
for
well,
international people, right?
so Trick or Treat and Nice List, because they are so heavy this year because there are so many things inside
We had to
of
get
them.
different boxes.
Yeah, they're so big. We actually had to ship with UPS. We're going to have to ship with UPS for international customers for those, which you guys know if you bought them. Excuse me, because the shipping is a little more. Oh my gosh, Frog City in my throat here. So, but those boxes are actually supposed to arrive within about 3 to 5 days. So for those international customers, you actually should have your boxes pretty quickly because we're using UPS. So actually, right before we started filming this, we were talking with Athena, and I was explaining that to her, and she was like, "Can you offer that to people so that they can choose to pay to have their boxes shipped to them faster?" So I'm gonna see if I can offer that as an option for the subscriptions and for other special edition boxes moving forward. I can't guarantee it's going to be possible just because of how I have things set up, but I will try.
But it's another thing we're thinking about anyway.
Will you do a Lord of the Rings box? Yeah, that's
We've already kind of addressed that.
I am on the subscription wait list and was just curious how many people are on the wait list now.
Yeah,
so
we've talked about that one.
Then we have, will you ever be able to expand so that the waiting list can be boxes? Wait, can get boxes. So we actually did just expand the number of boxes, like
a
literally.
Lot.
Yes. So some people have, actually a lot of people have come off the wait list. You need to make sure that the email you sign up with, you are checking semi-regularly because you have 24 hours. We did have somebody post on the Facebook group, a little upset because they thought that they only had like an hour to reply. No, you have 24 hours to respond to the email. And she was also having problems getting signed up. So if you have problems signing up, contact us back, because as long as we know that you're actually going to sign up, we will hold your spot for you. Mm-hmm. Like we can't hold it indefinitely. Like we can't do, oh, hey.
But if we know that it's coming on a very specific timeline, then yes, we're okay. You also need to know that if you are unable to accept at the time that it's offered, or if you choose not to accept at the time that it's offered, you completely come off the wait list and you're going to have to sign up again.
Yes.
If you want to be back on it. If you want to try and get on at a later date.
Can you share the special edition boxes for next year? And we just did that. So see, this is why we're doing this, because you guys have some of the same questions and it's good to put this out there. Just saying, a supernatural TV show based retreat or box would be incredible. It's, again, not a series that I have watched.
Which is really weird because Katie loves to watch scary movies and things, and I feel like it would be right in her wheelhouse, but it started at a time when it wasn't a good time for you to start a show.
It started at a time when I was not watching horror things. And actually, she watched the show and she refuses to watch scary movies. And she watched the show, but I watched, like, what I've been told are the 2 scariest episodes of that whole TV show. I stayed in here for 2 times, and it was the worst ones. It was the first episode where there is a burning body on the ceiling, and twice, and then
and I did not finish the series because it just landed at a place where I couldn't.
The second episode, I always get asked what episodes. The second episode I watched was at an asylum, and I still have problems with the shower being closed at night because I keep waiting for a hand to come out and grab me from it. Anyway.
So I think the answer on that one might be no. But there might be hope. We'll see.
Hey, I watch way worse things now. I probably could go back and
I don't
watch
those things. Okay.
In-person retreats. So we just talked about that. We will only ever do 1 in-person retreat a year. That's because Mom does work full-time.
Until I retire.
Yeah, that's because Mom works full-time. So I have her for the summer, and I have her booked during the summers.
Yes. I mean, I needed to go back to school so I could have a break.
She gets to actually take lunch now and like stitch a little bit during it. Before I would be like, come on, let's get back. No. What will be the book related box in February? So we're not doing, it's not going to be every February that we do the novels and needles box. The novels and needles box this time is murder mystery.
We're so excited about that one.
So we went with a genre this time instead of a specific author, which is, we're going to bounce around with how we interpret the novels and needles theme.
Mm-hmm.
How do I know a new retreat box is available for purchase? I keep missing out. We announce them on Instagram, on our newsletter, and we do our best to get it on Facebook. The best way to know when a special edition box is coming out is to subscribe to the newsletter and to check out the newsletter. We always have an upcoming box section where you can check out what's coming up that you need to plan for. I am also soon here going to be publishing a cheat sheet of when all of the boxes are going to go on sale for the next year.
So watch for that on our Instagram and in our Facebook group.
Yes. And Athena, I'm sure, will include it in the September newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
How much does a subscription usually cost? A subscription is $60, and it is bi-monthly. So every other month you will be charged $60 plus shipping. Currently, U.S. shipping is $10.79 a box. Canada and international are higher than that. And I just don't have the numbers at the top of my head right now. But that rate will change as the U.S. Postal Service rates change.
Mm-hmm.
So,
what's next?
Have you considered making just the stitching box and nothing but the stitching box? We did that actually for the Night Garden pretty much. We did include a scarf in that box. There's a limited number of stitching items, and we don't want to just send small kind of filler cross stitch things. If we are putting something together, we want to send something that is good quality, and so we will spend the extra money on giving you a really good lifestyle item instead of some small cross stitch thing just because it's cross stitch related.
Right. And you do have the option to wait and try and get those items from the vault if it's something that you feel like you don't want to get the lifestyle items. But we do advertise ourselves as a cross stitch and lifestyle item box.
Yes.
We don't typically send just a kit. Even in Night Garden, we had some other things.
Yes.
So
and we advertise, we will never send a full kit in the bi-monthly boxes. It's just the way that
in
we
the
do
subscription boxes.
Yes, in the subscription. The way we do things, it is not feasible. The designer has to have time to do the pattern, and then we would have to make sure that whatever materials they use are available, and it limits them on what they can do. It's not that they're available, it's that the dyer can handle the quantity that we would need to order.
And our decision is typically that if we are going to include what we would call a kit, we're going to include what the designer calls for. And we've had a lot of people who have said, well, I don't stitch on 40 count linen. I don't stitch on 16 count Aida. Everybody stitches on something different. We do include what the designer calls for in our trick or treat and in our Advent box.
The nice list.
Yes. Katie did offer options during the Night Garden box so that people could get different types of fabric. Because of fabric shortages this year, they were different counts. Because typically when we offer options, they will be all the same count.
That is also something that we should address. We've had a couple of people who have purchased, I think, maybe different boxes. And they've been a little confused and thought that they ordered, I said 14 count Aida, not 16 count Aida. We actually never give you an option for the count.
Mm-mm.
We send you what we send. We will email you a sheet after you've already purchased the box. We email everybody a form and say, would you prefer Aida, even weave, or linen? We email that if we are planning to include fabric in the box. Not every box comes with fabric.
Yes. So that is something to keep in mind. It also lets you know that you need to be watching for an email. How far ahead do you typically send the emails with the questions about fabric?
For the bi-monthly, I send it about 2 months before the box ships. I try to send it as soon as I can after the sales have closed, whether it's for the renewals or even after if I'm selling the extra boxes individually.
So that's another reason that you want it to be in an email that you look at regularly, because we have a lot of people every time who've not made a choice. And so then those people get the fabric that we have. It's luck of the draw.
Yes.
The other reason that we don't do kits, it's been really lovely to hear people, and I'm really thinking about, we have some friends in Australia who've done unboxings and they've said, oh, I wanted to try that fabric dyer. I wanted to try that floss brand. I wanted to try, this type of item, but it's too expensive for me to order that one thing and get it shipped here. So this is supposed to be a sampler type box where you get to sample different makers and vendors and dyers and
artists, people who you may never have heard of before. We try and source new creatives to work with on different items.
And just a tip, if you really like a design that's gone on an item in our box, probably you can find them on Instagram.
You can find the artist.
Yes.
The artwork is typically exclusive to us.
Yes.
So.
But we find artists. If you let us know that you like artists, we will check them out.
Mm-hmm. Do you have the capacity to make many more boxes since they sell out so quickly? We are doing our best to expand the number of subscribers that we have. Like we said, we've just expanded the waitlist, or not waitlist. We've just expanded the number of subscription boxes available. We're doing everything we can to expand more. Will there be extra Christmas boxes? Probably not. The trick or treat and advent boxes are really expensive to put together. So we should actually talk about pricing. That's something that Mom and I talk about a lot. We are a little different than I think most of the boxes out there. Yeah.
Yes.
We don't charge retail for our boxes. We give you a discounted rate. It's kind of what we do to offset. It's hit and miss with what items you're going to love in the boxes. And your taste may not line up with somebody else's tastes. And I have to kind of balance all of that when I'm planning a box, that there's a large group of people who I'm trying to please, and I'm not going to hit it out of the ballpark with every single one of you every single time. But you're also not paying full price for every single item in that box. You are paying a fraction of the price for every single item in the box if you buy it as the whole box. So it kind of, it helps with the mystery aspect that you should hopefully like enough things in there to get your money's worth out of it.
And you're paying closer to retail when you buy things from the vault.
Yes. Well, you are paying retail when you buy things from the vault. I try and look up the price of patterns from the designers when we put other designers' patterns on sale. If we include, like, the Witch's Bath is a vendor who we've used in the past, I will look at her website for pricing guidelines for what she charges for her things. We try and keep things fair. We don't try and undervalue or devalue the people who supply things for us. So,
but that's also why the retreat in a box, the specialty boxes, are higher priced, because they will. You want to talk about that?
So Frogwarts and Stars Hollow and the Black Needle Society retreat have a retreat fee attached to them. So if we are not going to have a 4-day event, the special edition box looks a little bit cheaper, but that's just because we're not charging you for the event. We're not charging you the full 4-day retreat price event.
Right. And so we have to plan in, what our time will take up, and prizes.
Yes, we've heard that you guys loved the prizes this year. We loved shopping for those prizes having a prize budget this year, because I was able to have a prize budget this year.
So, and it allows us to do that. So that's what that's for, to get everything set up and scheduled and planned. And
Yes.
yeah.
And then the trick or treat box and the nice list box, it's costing almost as much as you guys have paid for the boxes, is almost as much as it's costing us to put together those boxes. There is a little extra money because it is our time putting these together and wrapping all of these and paying for a packing team to help us out and all of that. So,
and all of the packaging for those.
Yes.
Everything gets wrapped individually.
Yeah, a lot of time goes into those. So hopefully you're good with us paying ourselves for doing that. But they are really expensive to put together, so I really order right there close to what the item quantities or the box quantity is.
And also she orders so close so that we do keep things more exclusive for you.
Yes, that is the other reason. I'd love a Downton Abbey or Bridgerton box, or both. So it's kind of funny. Our first business was Love You More Studio, and we actually did a couple of special edition boxes over there. We did not have a good experience with one of the special edition boxes that we did over there. It's a long story, but we decided,
and we don't need to go into it.
We decided we weren't doing any more special edition boxes over there. But before that happened, we had actually been planning a Downton Abbey box. We had been planning a Christmas a Downton Abbey box, which is something that we've talked about bringing back now for Black Needle Society, because it was fun and we were having fun working on it. We
would have to go back and rewatch all of that and get ourselves in that good spot.
But it is something I've watched. It is a series that I have watched multiple times, so it's something that I could probably do a refresher on and be like, oh yeah, I could pull that and that and that and that and that.
Katie and I went to the premiere of the movie. We bought the package to go with it. We have a little
snow globe.
So cute.
It's adorable. But yeah, so we do love Downton Abbey. Bridgerton, we actually were going to do a Bridgerton box this year. We ended up pulling that. First of all, somebody else released one and we didn't want it to be too close together for you guys. So we pulled ours instead. And then
we also haven't read all of that or watched all of that.
Yeah, there's a lot more series to come. So we've just decided to table that and put it on the back burner. Then, what are the themes for upcoming boxes and retreats? I'm trying to plan my budget. We've already talked about that, and I'll be putting that graphic up. How do you keep your creativity flowing?
Well, my job is to watch FlossTube. So all of you people, all of you people out there making FlossTube, keep talking about all the things that you like in your personal stitching life, because I watch those and I will look things up and I will send Katie random texts at whatever time I'm watching things, and she will get new makers that way. I scan through all of my Instagram and look for things. These are the things that I do to help. But Katie curates most of it.
I don't know. I just drink coffee and I have ideas. A lot of it is just dreaming up, well, hey, what do I want? Yeah, what do I want? My box? Yeah. That's hopefully, if you realize that the things that we send are things that we like too. Next, this is our last question. How do I join if I don't have Facebook? That's kind of up to you. You can create a Facebook account to join the Black Needle Society events on there. You don't even have to use your real information on there. You can say Susie Joe is your name and it's fine. You just have to answer the questions correctly. Not correctly. You just have to make us believe that you're actually a stitcher when you answer the questions to join. And that was our last question. Yeah. Is there anything else that you can think of that we get asked a lot that we need to clear up here?
We do sometimes get asked about our other business, and that's Love You More Studio, and we do sell book sleeves there. Book sleeves, but people, if you know Michelle Bendy, you know that we're selling, people are using them for project sleeves as well.
One thing though that we have talked about for the future is having smalls exchanges for the
Yes!
2022 retreat. This year, for Stars Hollow, we were able to figure out how to do a needleminder exchange in lieu of a small exchange because we just didn't have enough time to do smalls.
So the smalls exchange, though, we will be listing dimensions that are available, and that is the available space that you have for your item.
We will
So
that's something we should talk about. We demo pack these boxes and we figure out that everything is going to fit, yes or no. Do I need to order a bigger box? And then, yes, I will measure what space is left over.
So that means if Katie tells you that you have a 6x6 space, that is not how big your finished piece, your stitched piece is. That is how big your piece is. Period.
That is how big your package is going to be
Yeah.
inside of that box.
You cannot take a 6x6 piece and finish it into an 8x8 item.
You can't put it inside of a sailboat, right, Mom?
Yes.
Mom did a smalls exchange, and she found this adorable boat at a craft store, and her piece was like this long stitched piece, and she put it in the boat. It was stinking adorable.
Won't work.
She can't do that, no.
So whatever dimensions Katie tells you are available in the box, that's what you should do.
I think that's it.
We've talked a long time.
Yeah. And if you've hung out with us this long, then
I think you need to put an extra slide at the beginning that says, get a beverage and you're stitching.
You know what? If you've hung out with us this long, I'm going to do something.
Uh-oh.
I didn't tell Mom because I just thought of this.
And Athena's not here.
Yeah. So I actually found an extra stitch blanket, just one more stitch blanket. And I am going to say that if you comment down below and say one more stitch, then I'm going to put you in an entry for the next time we do a video. Not the Ottoman Stars Hollow unboxing because we filmed that earlier today. But the next time we do an unboxing video, I will choose a winner.
Okay.
No words like contest or anything like that, please.
Please be 18.
You do not need to be a subscriber to the Black Needle Society to enter either. You could just...
We hope you've subscribed to the channel.
Yeah, to the channel, yes. Please subscribe to the channel. But you don't have to be a box subscriber.
Mm-hmm.
So, other than that, thanks for hanging out. We're going to say goodbye. See you later, Society Stitchers.